Somebody on one of Shane Told's episodes was talking about the singer oozing confidence and having that swag and being cocky and, having that ego up there, even though there might be an introverted person, and just like, just commanding the stage, and then getting off, you're just like all reserved again, just hiding away or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do agree with that. That you definitely have to exude confidence, 100%. However, I think it's so cringy when people can tell if somebody's faking something, and you can even hear that in a recording when somebody's either just not into it, or there was just bad vibes, or somebody's faking something. And I think that's what really that's what really makes somebody like a quote unquote rock star, and just a performer, or just another fucking band. You gotta be about that shit. And with singers, like, it's so cringy when you can tell somebody's trying to put on the show. And I think that's 1,000 times worse than if that singer would have just gone up on stage and just 100% gave everybody exactly what they are, who they are. And if that means being a fucking weirdo and hiding behind a fucking cab, why not, man? Just be about it. And I think that's the true confidence, when people are just themselves. And I don't know, I kind of like that. There's definitely something that happens to a singer once they get on stage, but as long as it's still themselves, or their actual true alter ego, that shit really comes across. And like I said, you can hear that in recording. And I think that's what I encourage with vocalists when it comes time for vocals. Basically, the whole way through. And these days, actually, I just brief the entire band before we even agree on a recording, or set a time to start. I just make sure the whole band understands fully that it's the singer. That's it. You guys are supporting your front man. Your front man is the face, and you guys support him. And so that means, like, when it comes time for vocals, like, people are always asking me what do you do? I know some people, like, maybe give the singer some space or whatever, or blah 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 blah. It's literally just whatever the fuck the singer wants. Period. If they want 30 people in there, let's get 30 people in, because that's what's selling your brand, and that's what's he's who, or she's who, is spreading the word, and that's the face that's recognized. So you got to make damn sure that they are comfortable and pumped. Or if they like being sad and depressed, then let's make them sad and depressed.
Yeah. Would you say that, like, something else I've heard before about singers is that when they go into the studio, they want to push their voice to the absolute limit, give it their all, put it all on the record, but then people, when you go see them live, they complain about, oh, it didn't sound like the CD, blah 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 blah. But the singer can't push their vocals to that limit, because they're doing like a 30-day tour or something like that. So it's like, you have like your studio voice where you capture everything that the singer can do, but then you have the performance where the singer is supposed to go out there and everybody is expecting them to hit all those high notes, all those notes, you know what I mean? Like, live. Yeah. But then again, some people say don't do it in the studio if you can't do it live, which they can do it live. It's just that you're not going to get it, 30 nights in a row.
Absolutely. That's a tough one, man. I've been, I had battled with that for a while. Man, I battled with a lot of things, morally and technically, stuff like that. But ultimately, I know these days, I'm positive that I'm doing things the right way and the undeniably right way. And it took me fucking 13 years to get to this point and know and be point of confidence that I have right now in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, as far as pushing it in the studio, just to you gotta really push it in the studio because that's your chance to shine and blah 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 blah. It's I think it's totally detrimental to do anything, to perform anything in the studio without keeping in mind your live show and what you're capable of, because there's so much that happens with your mind and self-confidence issues that will kill a singer's performance. Man, if like if somebody's like easily offended or something, and like somebody offends them right before a show, their body will literally, like physically, their throat's gonna tighten up, and what would usually take 4 songs to tire out their vocal cords is now gonna take 30 seconds, and then they'll probably squeak out the first high note that they have to hit because they're freaking out about it. And then once that happens, they're fucked because they just squeaked on the very first high note, and it's just a snowball, or a snowball. Is that the same? I don't know.
Snowball effect, just going downhill, getting worse and worse.
Oh man, I haven't slept yet. I was up all night.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's go transition with you talking about you being confident in what you're doing and stuff. Like, I mean, you have what prompted me to reach out to you was following you on social media and stuff, and on Facebook, seeing your posts and stuff. Like, you are just becoming one of the most open people, well-known names, in this part of the industry and stuff, that's like just so outspoken right now, just talking about all this kinds of stuff. And you've been up forever working on projects and stuff. You haven't slept, like you just said. And so, like, when did the light switch in your head go off, for you to start, just saying like, oh, I'm just gonna just pull the veil down, I'm just gonna show everybody, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent, I don't care anymore. When did that light switch just sort of like just go off in your head to do that?
Man, it is a long fucking story, and there are there's quite a few facets to what brought me here, and I think a notable part of the whole process was just the fact that all the experiences and all the situations that I've been kind of thrown in, and and situations I flat out just walked into, knowing damn well exactly what the fuck I was walking into, but did it anyway. They're almost all so unbelievable that that's exactly what happened. Just nobody believed it, and to this day, this is the first time I'm going to be just flat out just barfing out this verbal vomit and letting it out there, which I'm stoked about because I'm so fucking sick of telling the same story to everybody. But plus, honestly, like straight up PTSD, like is some traumatic shit, and even right now I can feel my fucking balls sucking up into my body.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to if it's gonna like make you feel uncomfortable. Or
no.
Yeah. So.
No, I'm fucking pumped, and that kind of goes. It kind of goes along with my change of pace and mindset, is just, get through it quick. Like, be wrong fast, and handle an experience and really take in and process all the awful, as fast as you can. Just get through it, and then you're not going to be festering or letting it fester for months and years. And that's kind of what I did. I don't know where to fucking start, man.
Well, let's just start with like the stuff that, like, you don't have to say names, you don't have to give me specifics if you don't want to, but like the stuff that you saw or experienced that started to build up into this, and then moving forward into just doing what you're doing now and everything. I guess just that little timeline of maybe touch on some examples, I guess, giving as much or as little details as you're comfortable with giving, and then just being like, yo, that was the deal breaker right there when I saw that, or whatever.
Yep, absolutely. And dude, I purposely, it started off just in mitigation of or to avoid ever being in this situation again. I started just making a point to be almost offensively transparent. It was just like ridiculously transparent, to the point where I knew damn well that I would be talking people right out of my life. Like, I would watch them as I'm just barfing out information. Just over the top transparency. And then I started seeing that for the first time in my life, I was noticing like undeniable synchronization every single day with new connections that I was making. And then I started to kind of take that to an extreme and think, it's, realize later it's not extreme at all. It's totally fucking logical. I'm just gonna fucking be me and talk about whatever the fuck I want to, as long as it's absolute fact, and as long as I'm not just watching bullshit come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because that shit is, nobody realizes, like, even the smallest, the most little white lies or whatever, quote unquote, that doesn't exist. That's not a real thing. Every single fucking lie or fib, also not a real fucking word. It's just bullshit we make up to make ourselves feel better about how much we lie as human beings. The percentage is 70% of us every single day, by the way. I've been taking life or thinking about things real simple, just the most simple way. And that was kind of out of necessity, because things in my life just became, they just kept stacking up, man. The crazy shit that was, I had to finally get to a point where I was accepting that, yes, all these things are fucking happening. And then I just started saying fuck it and telling people exactly what the fuck's happening, what's been happening. And I've just been thinking about things as be transparent, open, completely honest about fucking everything. And then whatever I see, the tangible proof that I see in front of me that was a good thing to do, I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And and it's been working, man. So basically, I got started in recording about I'll say like 14, 15 years ago. And I'm 34, by the way. I'm old as fuck. So I had just moved to Orlando to go to UCF for computer science and some other bullshit. I had a full ride, and I think it was maybe 75%. I don't know. This doesn't matter at all. But I quickly got bored, and I started to record my own band's demos, because we, number one, didn't know how the fuck, like, we had no idea that you just contact a producer that you like and then ask to record, and then most likely they'll do it. Yeah, it took us like a fucking year just to figure that out. And then when we did that, we got that first shocking response that was like excitement followed by when they said pricing. And so I was like, fuck it, you know what, I can do this. It seems pretty straightforward and logical to me. And we just purchased a Digi 01 and as a band, $800. And yeah, from there, just word of mouth and doing $50 demos for friends. And then I had this band drive up from St. Pete, not Russia, but St. Pete, Florida. and they were called Oceana.
Oh,
and,
I remember that band. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it was way cool. We just connected right off the bat, and they did 2 songs, Mindless, and The Accountable, and they, we just hit it off really well. And they asked me, hey, you want to be our manager? And I was like, well, I don't know what the fuck that means, but sure, man. And what does a manager do? And then they said, well, we really want to be on this. We want to get signed by Rise really bad. And said, okay, I have no idea who that is or what that is. But okay. And then I just Googled up Rise and found Rise at rise.com, Rise at riserecords.com, emailed the 2 demos, and literally Craig responded back in maybe 45 seconds into one of the songs. Maybe that's an exaggeration, a minute or 2, but he called back, or he emailed back, and straight up he said, yo, this is really good. It sounds like the producer knows what he's doing. You guys want to get signed? Yeah. I was like, oh, well, fuck. Hey guys, guess what? Do you guys want to sign with Rise? So that, that should have been the beginning of this beautiful experience, and in a lot of ways it was, because I met amazing people, and I had over the top experiences, good and bad. I think we can all take experiences like that and find some good in them, or we have to, so we don't lose our fucking minds. But ultimately, man, it was the start of ridiculous manipulation and suppressing, the things that I wanted to accomplish as an artist, and the things I was even capable of. Because I actually didn't start in post-hardcore or metal or anything like that, and by no means do I dislike it. In fact, I've been dying to. I've been doing so much not metal and post-hardcore lately that I'm currently diving into some ridiculously heavy shit, and I'm really, really stoked on that. Okay. But yeah, just in a new way, in a different way, the right way, not this. Not what I call a train wreck accident of a genre. It turned into a sub industry. This post hardcore fucking glitch fest, bass drop, God damn it! I threw lasers into a couple albums, and then boom, fucking a month later, there's 30 new bands with fucking pew pew pew. Like, it's crazy, man, and it is really cool. Like, I feel like I have to keep reiterating that I'm really proud, and it's way cool, and you know, I'm really stoked that I had any part in you know, aiding in putting smiles on artists' faces and quote unquote like facilitating their dreams, which can't tell you how many fucking times I hear that shit, that it's somebody's dream to essentially go get fucked. But yeah, there's a lot of mixed feelings, because ultimately it started me down a path of getting manipulated hardcore, and to the point where, you know, as humans we're so good, we're fucking experts at lying to ourselves first and foremost, and we're all born, you know, narcissists, and we're born with the innate, we're wired to hurt each other and kill and lie and cheat and steal, and it is truly the reason that I feel the reason the music industry is such a cutthroat place, you know, people say is just because it gives a lot of freedom, to fuck each other over, and that's what it kind of has turned into, or what it's always been since like fucking doo-wop. It's just been an industry of, you know, where you're taught at a very early time, or early point in your career, that it's like you better fuck them before they fuck you, and that's just, it's just so bananas fucking awful and wrong, like undeniably wrong in every way. So I basically, long story, or just skipped like 10 years, and I got I was appointed A&R with Rise. I got a whole bunch of bands signed, particularly some of the notable ones, as far as the, you know, bragging rights or whatever. Memphis Mayfire, actually, they were on Trustkill, and and they, you know, they Kellen called me up and booked some time for an album, and I was so stoked, because it was going to be it would have been my biggest budget album, and even at that point, I had already experienced such bullshit and just clearly wrong behavior, that I passed it all off as, well, you know, nobody said it was going to be easy, and everyone's told me the music industry is a real piece of shit and it's gonna ruin you. So I was like, well, you know what, I can handle it. I'll just take it on the chin, and whatever. That sounds normal. That you know, that label didn't even fucking pay me, like, at all, and basically just said fuck you, and all these experiences I had already had even before the Hollow. I felt like, okay, finally, this is it. You know, I'm finally getting what I deserve. You know, I got a big budget album coming in, and 2 weeks before we were supposed to start the project, I get a call from Kellen again, and it's, hey man, you want the good news or the bad news? And the bad news, the good news was that they were off a shitty deal. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's awesome. Congrats. And then bad news is we don't have that budget anymore.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, dude. And this was, I think my second signing, or maybe third. I don't remember if Sirens came before them or after them, but I got Machine signed, and then Woe Is Me signed, and oh my gosh, that's a whole other story to tell. Jesus, I'm telling you, man, I could keep you going.
We may have to make this little series or something.
Oh, dude, it's out of control. But all right, so yeah. Anyway, got some bands signed. Blah blah blah. When I just, it was it seemed pretty unlikely that I would, and yeah, Memphis Mayfire basically said, well, see, we were thinking maybe you could just do our album for free and then get us signed, and then you can take a bonus or whatever the fuck they do, and that's kind of what I thought at the time too. I didn't know how shit worked. I was like, sure, or whatever the fuck they do, man. Yeah, let's do that free album even fun. Raising a family and supporting my lady and daughter. And but I just I called up Craig, and he goes, oh, Memphis Mayfire, no, they're damaged goods. It just flat out no. And so I pressed on for like a week. Long story short, I basically just ended up force feeding them and being like, no, dude, like this is you're gonna regret it for sure, because this is what is going to be big. And I can confidently say that I've never fucking been wrong about any band that I push, and I've never been wrong about people that I know are capable of hurting somebody else purposely. And I think that's also truly what makes somebody right or wrong or good or bad. It's not about your religion. It's not about if you go to church every Sunday, or it's not about if you are sleeping with a bunch of people or not, doing drugs or not doing drugs. It's nothing to do with that. It's just hands down. Do you hurt people, hurt others on purpose or knowingly? That is the ultimate. Well, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And those are the people I absolutely stay away from. Narcissists, no business even talking to me. The second I spot it these days, because of what I've just gone through, I fucking handle that shit. And it's truly the only way that people that with that capability or the ability to actually destroy somebody's life, watch another human being suffer. Those if you really care about them, which we tend to for some reason. I'm a little bit more cutthroat these days than most people, but we tend to care about those people. And if you really care about them, the only way you're going to fucking help them is to make sure they experience a fucking consequence, probably for the first time in their life, because they're such good manipulators. And I spent large portion of my life being or taking pride in being good at manipulating. And I've spent a good portion of my life on the label side, knowing that I'm getting excited with bands, knowing full well, or getting excited with bands about getting signed, and knowing damn well that where that road leads to, which is just flat out, undeniably in my mind, unarguable. Bands go to labels to die, and there's a fucking reason why. Pretty much, there's one fucking band in the past 10 years that has come from post-hardcore and gone on to be absolutely undeniably a career band that is just fucking set for life. And that's Bring Me.
Oh yeah.
There's
would you throw A Day to Remember in that category too? Because they're sort of doing that too.
Oh fuck, man. I think, I gotta. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I gotta give it to him.
Because it was definitely between those two right there when you were describing. I'm like, oh, he's either going to say Bring Me or he's going to say A Day to Remember, because they're both doing that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'll have to include them. I'll just be totally transparent here. I could never get into Day to Remember just because it's just preference.
Yeah,
it's
that's fair.
personal,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's I'm not a fan of I feel like in any style of music, bubblegum, happy, major feels are not, in my mind, not really. Don't
So you're
I don't
not a
feel
pop
like
punk guy.
Oh man, see that? Well, gosh, I used to love Less Than Jake. I had a ska phase.
Yeah.
I used to wear like fucking it's I don't know. Yeah, just something about it. But great band though. Really respect them. And then they fucking killed it. And not to mention they fucking had the balls to stand up for something that was clearly wrong. And they said, despite all the pieces of shit in the industry who actually encourage people to walk away from something and like, oh, don't bother, man. It's you need to walk away from this. You're above this. It's never going to change anything. You can't do anything. Just let it go. And it's like, motherfucker, did you just hear what I said? They're stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from us blatantly.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck says walk away from that shit? So I really do respect them a ton for standing up for something clearly wrong. And that's also what I'm finally doing, and I'm really proud of. And now that I'm in it, just being transparent, it all goes along with just being fucking transparent, man. It took me, past 5 years have really been the fucking ultimate kick in the nuts. And we all have them in life, and we all need them to keep reminding us that, like, yo, that shit's don't do that, because the last time you did it, it hurt, And in my case, it was stop refusing to trust your instinct. Always trust your instinct. And like Cameron, you've been right. You've been right, or just or things ended up being 1,000 times worse than what you thought. Almost every single time I had a feeling about something, 100% correct. And had I just trusted my instinct from the beginning, I would have avoided a lot of traumatizing shit over the past 5 years. However, I wouldn't be, where I'm at right now, and I'm really happiest I've ever been.
I do want to ask you, like, even though you're going through all that stuff, going back to the Memphis stuff, the first time, that you had one of their records, or assuming they were the first band, I don't know what the first band was that you had, that project you did charted on Billboard, or even with the Feel record, Sleeping with Sirens did, going into like the top 5 or top 3 or whatever, like, amidst all of that, what were your emotions when you get those numbers back, seeing your name attached to a project and seeing that it sold that well, on such a high, a charting that ranks it amongst, like country artists, hip hop, artists, just everybody, and something you did amongst all those people. Like, amidst all this, like, what were your emotions during seeing that happen?
They were nothing near what they should have been. And that is because, man, by the time Feel came around, I had already been fucked so hard on the Hollow and basically every single other, man, I've totally skipped over the real important shit this entire conversation. Yeah, we'll have to do it again. All right, straight up, I'll just vomit out the real important shit, because it's definitely something I need to get out, and that was my goal for this conversation. Basically, I wasn't a case of being naive and making poor decisions or not being responsible and doing what you're supposed to do to make sure your ass is covered. I flat out for years I got to the point where I was begging to just get me some paperwork, just show me something. This was to my manager, who's also pretty much my mentor, man, because I didn't know any better, and these people were at Rise were the only they were everybody said that they were it, they were the shit, they were the people, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm with the people, so I better learn from them and trust them. And oh man, was that a wrong move from the beginning. I'm today I just found this out. I found this out that I have been not receiving royalties that were actually reported paid. My royalties were reported paid, but not paid to me for over 7 years.
Jeez.
And that's on just the fact that one of those albums had record-breaking first week sales, and on that specific album, I wrote multiple songs in their entirety, aside from vocals, and that alone, it's a little bit painful. Not to mention, that's just one of literally. For the past about 7 years, every single band that I've produced, every single album that I've produced, was sworn up and down. And, I was shut up. I was told, listen, stop. I got you. Like, you don't need to worry about anything, man. I'm your manager. Don't worry about a thing. I got you covered. I'm like, you know what? After like 4 years of this bullshit, I'm like, no, man, I gotta get some fucking paperwork. Just give me anything. Give me a statement. Give me some certified document so I can fucking sleep better. And never got it. And then I stepped into a absolutely psychotic relationship with and here's where everything starts to get unbelievable. I stepped into a relationship with what I know and a lot of other people are starting to come out of the woodworks after I started seeking them out. And I stepped into a relationship with a criminal, a known criminal who has been wrecking lives and manipulating and just leaving guys, girls, older folk, young, very young. She's abusive. She's known for drugging people. She was drugging me with fucking Prozac, man. She was experimenting on me with Prozac for multiple years, while siphoning money. And she's a clinically she's an extreme narcissist. And there's a lot of horrible shit that I wasn't even paying attention to or capable of being aware of because of, unknowingly being on fucking Prozac. And the worst part is that I know that now to be, I know now that, it's one of the most intense detox experiences that anyone talks about. If you look up Prozac, it's pretty terrifying shit. And the fact that I was detoxing without even knowing that I was on it in the first place, but that by itself was fucking hell, because I just thought I was losing my fucking mind. Not to mention, that is right about the time when I started looking into shit, got some device backups, and I started digging, even though I was out of my fucking mind. I couldn't understand why I was, or like how day after day I was still ending up with this person and being manipulated so badly to the point where she would actually tell me what she was doing. She would be, quote unquote, making concoctions, actually frying, like crushing up pills in a frying pan, and then saying, or here, take this, or drink this concoction. I'd be like, well, fucking no, what the fuck is it? And it was like, just shut up and drink it. It's vitamins. And I'd fucking do it because I was so manipulated. And then on top of that, I was finding out that I was being lied to about my royalties. And ultimately, during detox, that was a time that everyone is quite aware of who follows my work. That was when I was publicly, calling out for help at first, very briefly, and then ultimately just trying to warn people about the absolute fucking facts that I was learning and experiencing in the worst way possible. And it turns out after all this, and I'm still in it. I still have devices that are under management, but it turns out that no, it wasn't a genius hacker. It was simply a psychotic narcissist who didn't want me to be telling anybody what I found out about her, and ultimately I found out that she's a criminal, and she's a prostitute, a escort, and has been just living this horrible life for as long as anyone can remember. She's left a trail of just sad pieces of shit. And these dudes, the really good dudes, ultimately that are still in therapy after being with her for a year and still can't understand what the fuck just happened to them. Unfortunately, I spent 5 years with this woman and raised her child as my own, and it's horrible shit. And ultimately, I can't do anything really. Number one, because I needed to rest my fucking head, and number two, because everything took everything from me, including my bed and with fucking shoes and shit. Just literally, I was left with nothing. And unfortunately, cybercrime is something that's new, and you need a specialist somebody very educated to even stand a chance of not being laughed at in court. Even though this is software it's technology that has been around for 30 years, and it's device management. That's all it is. She was able to take my name off as a manager of all of our service providers, ISPs and cellular providers, and that was all she needed to do, because I had just started her business. So she was a business owner with a whole bunch of devices with no name attached to it. So she claimed those as business devices, and was able to get Apple and Sprint and Cox and a company, a real fucked up company that needs to be shut down, and will be once people start really looking into this and seeing clearly, like, yo, this shit is undeniably fucked up. A company called Wi-Fi-Soft.com, Wi-Fi Soft. Everybody that's listening, like, you don't have a fucking choice. You just need to be within range of something called a Unibox. And if you've ever heard of BYOD, bring your own device, that's device management. You can just, like I said, bring in any device that is not attached to anyone else's name, show that you're a business owner, and this is your business device that you want managed, and boom, fuck somebody's life over. So I was essentially, yes, I was being hacked, and everything that I was claiming were not claims, they were absolute facts. But ultimately, device management is the same technology used for ransomware, for like WannaCry, Dark Skies. It's all the same shit. And it's the same shit that we let our kids come home with on their iPads that a school gave to them. It's the same shit that you sign a waiver for when you get a new job you're excited about, and they give you a free company phone. Yeah, you bet your ass that phone, that company phone, not only can be accessed, not only can spy on you through the camera, you get full fucking control over that device, including a control panel for the host that is essentially a virtual copy of that actual device on your whatever computer you're using. It's bananas, man. So that's where I'm at, and I'm finally seeing my efforts and my new way of thinking really pay off exponentially every single day. I started a nonprofit called Morla Collective, and morlacollective.com. If you check it out, there's if you're down, I'll talk about it more maybe at another time. But
yeah, we're kind of pressed for time right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I barfed out enough for now.
Yeah, no,
and it's been wild. It's been real wild, and I'm really excited about things moving forward, because I've accomplished all of my goals from the past 13 years in about 3 months. And there's just constantly, every single day, there's more and more undeniable proof that my way is something to pay attention to, because it's working for a lot of people.
Yeah, so would you say Cameron is now #wokeAF?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.